Hi everybody, and welcome to Autumn Afternoons at the Story Barn. I'm Renata Bowers. I'm the author of the Free to Be series of picture books and co-owner of the Story Barn in Somers, Connecticut. I am Paula LaJoy, and our families welcome you to join us this week for week 3 of our Autumn Afternoons. The theme this week is Paint by Nature. So for those of you who have been here before, you know the routine. For those of you who are new, it's really quite simple. You're going to pull up and park and come to the front doors of the barn for registration. And upon registration, you will receive a basket much like this. It's going to have all the supplies you need for the things I'm going to show you, along with some of the perennial favorites that are not so much craft as exploration driven, such as the water bottle and the magnifying glass and the chalk and the bubbles. Those are things that kids can just take and run and do what they will. There's nothing that can be harmed with a little bit of chalk and water and a magnifying glass and some bubbles. So that's really meant for your children to just take and go and explore. But everything else in this basket is going to help you and your children create the projects I'm about to show you. A little caveat, remember, we're not wanting kids to replicate anything that I show you. It's just a suggestion of what can be made. We love it when kids take the supplies and come up with something entirely unique to them. So let them create at will, using their imagination with very little guidance. We love to see what kids come up with. So you will be given the basket. So that will be something that you take with you to your dedicated spot. And we will be giving you a big, large piece of cardboard that your child can set up on outside and be creating these out in nature. Okay. From there, you will go and forage and find different items in nature that will help you complete a number of different projects if your child is interested. The first would be what we're calling our painting in nature. So that would be taking objects from nature and using paint to create something. So for instance, these are leaves and turned into little ladybugs. You could paint a stick, multicolors. Also, these are from our dear friend Elise, who helps us with projects. She also created this pine cone, little googly-eyed creature. So the cool thing about this is if you notice, the color is on the outside of the needles, right? So Paula went ahead and tried and painted one that is still not opened. So what happens is you can paint a closed pine cone, and as it dries, it will open and the colors will appear on the outside, and then you can see the natural coloring on the inside, which is kind of a neat experiment to do with your kids. Another thing you can paint in nature are acorns, and our friend Monique painted these to look like little pumpkins. So again, these are just suggestions of how you can paint items from nature to create a different kind of project. The other thing is you can paint items to look specifically like an owl or a pumpkin. So these are rocks. These would be our rock painting that you can do as well. There's rocks all over our property. And so Monique went ahead and created some pumpkins. This is just a smaller rock attached with some Mod Podge, which is in your basket. And then she painted them orange with little yellow lines to look pumpkin-y. And then also owls. So she used paint to create these friendly little owls, all different colors and kinds. We also will have googly eyes on the basket, so you could do googly eyes instead of painting the eyes on. And then you can use items from nature to actually do the painting, which is a different approach. So our friend Elise made some of these. This is primarily with acorn caps. That's where you see the circular pattern. And then she used leaves or sticks to paint the more solid areas. So she created the pumpkin. Here's an idea of she actually cut out an object and used the acorns to paint the heart within it. Here she actually used different kinds of objects such as a paper bag and sticks and acorns, and then objects from nature to paint the clouds and the trees and the grass. So again, just letting your child's imagination run wild. So there's that. And then last but not least, in your Autumn Afternoons notebook, every child gets one. For those of you who are returning, make sure you bring the notebook back. And for those of you who are new, your child will be receiving his or her own. But one suggestion is that you could actually create these little, you could paint with your fingers. So you can create these little birds or anything else you can come up with using your fingerprint. And just as a tip, these markers, which are inside your basket, work really, really well for doing that. And they're washable. So you just would color the fingertip, and then put it in the book, and then they can create whatever creatures they like. So that gives you an idea of all of the things you can be exploring this week in our third week of Autumn Afternoons. Don't forget to bring a mask. When you're at your spot on the property, you are welcomed to be mask free. But of course, when you're out and about on the property, we ask that you and your children each wear a mask. We do have them available for purchase here at the barn. And last but not least, speaking of purchase, we do have all of the Free to Be books, along with all kinds of other fun products that are available in our stores open during these events. So if you would like to purchase some books and have me sign them, I'm always available at these events to do so. So we look forward to having you kind of shop and see what we have in our little store as well. We thank you, both of our families thank you for your support. We are a small business, and we rely on your friendship and our relationship with you so that we can continue to do what we love so very much and love on you and your kids in return. So we look forward to seeing you. Everything else you need to know is in the email. And should you have any questions, just go ahead and email us right back at info@freetobe.com. We'll see you in just a little bit. Thanks.